Hi everyone, welcome to the Mama Elephant YouTube channel. This is Arena. Today we are introducing Scene Builder. I absolutely adore this stamp set. It makes it super easy to create scenes for your cards, and it comes with 4 different scenes that you can use. It's kind of my own personal tradition to pick my favorite stamp out of a stamp set, and for this one, my favorite is the first one, which is the adorable city. I just love it. There are coordinating dies available for the Scene Builder set, and this is what it looks like. And the beauty of these dies are you can use them either horizontally or vertically on your card. Here's what the stamp set looks like. And so I wanted to create 4 different samples, and where I'm going to create 2 landscape cards and 2 portrait cards. And then for each orientation, I'm going to stamp one closer to the top of the card and another one toward the bottom of the card, so you can see kind of the different orientations that you can stamp out these images. So the first one I'm going to stamp out, I'm going to do this the portrait style, and then I'm going to stamp out the image closer toward the bottom. For this portrait style card, I'm going to stamp the landscape toward the top. For this horizontal, I'm going to stamp the trees toward the top, and then these set of trees I'm going to stamp toward the bottom. I just wanted you to see the different variations that you can stamp the different landscapes. All the images were stamped out using the Incon 3 Blackout Detail ink on the Accent Opaque 120 pound paper. I like to mix up my inks and papers now and then because sometimes I just get into a funk. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been starting to use like different inks for my ink blending because I've been using the Mama Elephant pigment inks, but coincidentally I did buy those a million years ago, and they just happen to be in my stash. I just like to mix up the supplies because I feel like sometimes I just get in a funk and I use the same colors and all of this. So when I use like different papers and different inks, it forces me to like be more creative and use kind of different colors. So for this image, this is my favorite one, this city, and I love the little rainbow. So that kind of inspired me to color this rainbow city, and I'm just powering through, not a lot of blending, but I'm using just I selected some rainbow colors, and then I'm just going down the line, just coloring every little section of all of the windows and roofs in rainbow order color. So this is my portrait style card, and I've stamped the image out kind of towards the bottom of the card. For the next image, I'm coloring a horizontal style, just 3 colors here. It's kind of a forest scene, and I stamped it toward the bottom. And I'm just doing some simple coloring here. I love this simple little scene, and you can see that these stamps work really great either horizontally or vertically, and the Creative Cuts coordinating dies also accommodate both different orientations. The next one is a portrait style card, and I had stamped out the mountains toward the top of the card. I believe I'm using the C colors here, 1, 3, and 5, and I went a little bit messy, so I'm going to save the cleaning up my messiness in a little bit later. I just wanted to create kind of like a light gradient in the mountains, and I wanted to keep the tops of the mountains in white. So toward the end, I took my 0 marker and I did some cleanup. I'm touching the areas where I kind of bled a little bit just to clean up that image. 2 of my cards did turn out to be Christmas cards, so I hope you don't mind. I really love these trees here. They kind of remind me of Christmas trees and kind of reminded me of a winter scene. And I have so many images that I've just kind of colored and not used yet. And I kind of have them off to the side. And I had colored a bunch of these snowmen from the holiday release that I didn't get to put on a card yet, because I really liked the way I colored them, but I didn't know what kind of background that I wanted to use. So I've kind of been saving them on the side until I figured out what kind of background. And I thought this would be so perfect to use as a background for my snowmen. I usually pick my colors beforehand, but this time I kind of just pluck them out of my Copic marker storage. But I believe I did use BG49, BG13, 15, BG10, and BG11 for those trees. So we're going to start to do some assembly for these cards. So the assembly process kind of was the same steps that I used for each of the 4 cards. So I did already die cut my landscape images, and you can see how gorgeous they came out after you die cut it. Once again, the die can accommodate cutting out either a horizontal or vertical. So when you cut out that city, what you can do is on the card front, you can do some ink blending, and you have this like really nice, beautiful ink blending behind your landscape image, and you didn't have to mask your landscape image. So I love that about the die cutting of this landscape. So I did do the ink blending for this city in Spun Sugar Distress Oxide ink, and I am just using images that I've already colored. I always color extra images. I always have extra images lying around. I'm always kind of practicing my coloring. So I have just images galore that haven't been put on cards. So I did have all of these were extras. So I did have this zodiac rooster, and I have that little noodle bowl, and I used the sentiment from the stamp set, "Hey friend, just chicken in." So I thought it would be cute to have the little chicken kind of like on top of the city, checking in on everybody. So that's how I made this card. And again, I did all of the same steps of just die cutting it and then ink blending on the card front. Behind, so there's like this mist of color, and I just absolutely love the look, because it looks like you did like a lot of masking and you did a lot of different things to get that sort of like clean blending, but it was super easy to do just by die cutting the landscape image and layering it on top of your ink blended card front. So this was my Christmas tree. So I am going to make a Christmas card. So I've stamped out Season's Greetings from the mini Merry Messages stamp set, the holiday version. And then so I'm kind of deciding that I want kind of like a BG black, blue-green background. So I'm using Peacock Feathers, I believe, Distress Oxide ink. And then if you want to do some light ink blending, make sure you kind of blend off to the side before you go in, just so you remove a lot of that ink and you kind of work that ink into the bristles before you ink blend. So these are the snowman images that I colored a million years ago that have been sitting in my drawer that have now finally found a home. I loved this set, so I'm kind of glad that I also got a head start on my holiday cards. I was always planning to use those images, but I just wanted to use a special background. So here is the forest scene. I'm ink blending here using, I believe, it's probably bundled sage. And then I had some 2 extra stackables. These are Stackable Friends, and I just adore that bunny and I adore that lamb, so I thought I would use those 2 guys. I'm using a sentiment from the stamp set, We Are Awesome Together, and then I'm going to just adhere that landscape on top of my ink blending, and I just love how all of these cards came out. They were super simple to do. Because I had the images already colored, it literally took only minutes for each of the cards. I just kind of The part that took the longest was me deciding what ink I wanted to use for the background. This, I believe, is weathered wood. Behind the mountains, and I had colored in just a bunch of Yetis and a bunch of the sloth agenda, and of course I have extras all over the place, so I wanted to use those guys for this mountain scene. I did use a sentiments from a Yeti. And so here is another holiday card that I have done. I just loved just the simplicity of these backgrounds and how they kind of complete your card really nicely when you add your different elements. I also tried to use like a stackable, like a regular stamp set, an agenda, and then also a zodiac, just so you can see that different stamp sets work with the different scene builder stamps. That's it. I'm calling these cards done. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to stop by tomorrow. We are going to do some boba fun stuff. These images, you guys, you will not want to miss the video. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Stay safe and have fun. Bye, guys.